I am here in Washington, D.C. at Nationals Park to go behind the scenes of the audio behind a Major League Baseball game.
3, 2, 1.
Roll goal track.
I have never seen this level of access before anywhere ever.
This is our 72 fader Calrec Artemis Surface. It has something like 512 outputs.
This one is into left field, that's a hit.
The A1 has to be responsible not only for the mix, for the transmission that's leaving the truck, also for all the comms.
It's going to be broadcast in baseball like you've never seen it before from the angle of audio. So let's go do this. All right, this is Glenn. Hey, Glenn.
Hey, everybody.
I'm so excited to do this.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
You are the last fingers on everything that's broadcasting here.
Correct.
Since it's coming back through you.
Correct.
Not the studio.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It all goes through my truck. This is our 72 fader Calrec Artemis Surface, and it's GPI triggered, so I don't have to quickly reach down and open it up.
So while you're mixing, what we'll see is these things will just be going by themselves.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
But you set it up.
Yeah, between me, the technical director, and the truck engineer. He has to write some logic statements in the tally matrix to make that happen. These are all used for crowd. I have a booth crowd. I have a couple of high cameras that have stereo mics on them. The center field camera is important because that's where we get the crowd sound for our surround. This is my bat crack. So these are two parabolic dishes that are aimed at the batter to get the sound of the bat crack. Two most important microphones in baseball.
All right, what do we have down here?
If you watch enough baseball, you'll see a strike box. So the strike box has to be inserted into the video and then created and then sent back. And that takes approximately 8 frames of time. So if I have a bat crack microphone and I have the strike box, well, my audio will get there before you see it on the video with the strike box. So I have to delay that by 8 frames.
Okay, what else do we have here? Molt sheets.
The molt sheets are 12-pair audio cables that'll get hooked up to the back of the truck.
And so you're going to patch everything.
So I'm going to
out.
find molt 1, which is here. Right, there's molt 1, and this is going to go into mic 1. Mic 1 is here. I go to the next one. I can find molt 2. 13 and 14. So 1 goes into 13. Do you see how I've made this as simple as I can on myself?
And so for the layman here, what's happening is there's a gigantic cable box plugged in like an umbilical cord into this truck. And you're basically taking these big umbilical cords and getting them into your board.
Correct. Apple has alternate audio, being the home and the away radio calls. But we need to bring those into the truck so that they can be routed to Apple so that Apple can put that into their bit stream so that you can choose if you want to have the alternate audio. We're going to go run some cables. I don't know how interesting it will be.
If it's interesting to me, that's all that matters.
First, we have to go get the cables.
Okay.
We call this Walmart. You can come in and shop. Oh, they're too short. Medium. All right, let's go grab these.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this where everything's coming in from?
Yep.
Wow, okay.
Most of it, anyway. Hey, look at that. So now we see from that router source, look at the name, there's home radio and visit radio.
I keep seeing your EQs pop up over there, which I suspect are microphones. And at some point, I'd love for you to give me your EQ theory.
So in live sports, normally EQ is there to solve problems. You can take a crowd and layer that at, let's say, 2K, and you could layer your specialty microphones at 8K. The human voice is around 4K-ish, so you could emphasize 4K. So it all depends on the situation. You're just fixing problems.
So what is this?
That's the X key. That is the trigger for our Enco music player. The themes are here, the highlights are here, the graphic songs are here, the rollouts are here, the sales are here, the lineup music is there, and the MLS preview music is there. Up there, those are the old school way of doing it called DigiCart. A live sports mixer or even studio mixer is listening to multiple voices, and not all of them are in their head. For example, you have stereo left and right if you're listening in stereo. Here I'm listening in 5.1. Here I'm listening in Atmos. So I have those three choices, all coming out of the same set of Neumann speakers.
You'll be mixing in 5.1, Atmos, and or stereo. You have people talking to you here, people talking to you there, people talking to you there.
Correct.
All while you're making
Correct.
the show.
Correct.
So great.
Correct.
What does fax mean?
So it's the last thing that you do before you say it's broadcast ready. It's a fact that those things work. Let's walk back there.
Landed one of the bullpens. Yeah. Or well, it's clouds.
What is this? Guys, meet Dallas.
So you were just talking to him over there to confirm that everything is reaching you and reaching him all properly.
Yeah, well, it's all, we have these routers here, and we want to make sure that the correct audio is under all the buttons that we have. And so that's when we were checking, because there's different audio on a lot of these buttons. It's a lot of things to check.
Correct.
And you don't want to find out during a broadcast. So
Correct.
fax.
Which is why we fax and why we have a set day.
We have an operations channel, we have a transmission channel, we have a tech channel. Since we're transmission for the whole thing, we send back to them a mix minus, which is everything except what they send us. So they are the minus.
And what would happen if they didn't get a mix minus?
If we send them our program, then they'd hear themselves coming back.
Feedback loop.
Correct.
And then the mix minus is also relevant for anyone on the field, reporters as well, to where they don't get any sort of
Correct.
wonky delay.
Correct. They always want to hear themselves, but it has to be in real time. It has to be instantaneous. So if you were talking to a studio and the studio was sending you your microphone back to you after going somewhere and then coming back, it would be delayed. And if you've ever listened to yourself delayed, you start to speak slowly because your brain gets confused.
When you're listening with your expert ears, other people's work, where do you see problems in broadcast sports mixing?
The problem is stereo. You're taking all these microphones, all these distinct sounds, and you're trying to compress it into two speakers. Where's the acoustic space? Where's the definition? There's no definition anymore because it's all kind of muddled in together. The beauty of 5.1 is that you can separate the sounds out. If you're listening in 5.1, you get more distinct, more granular sound out of your mix. And then when you take it to Atmos, then it's even more pronounced.
So going all the way to the largest format, Atmos, can you give me just a rundown of where you're placing things in the space?
Well, right now, it's the 514 mix, the standard 514 mix that we're all doing.
And so 4, if I'm looking correctly, it's going to be here, here, there, and there.
Correct.
Right, okay.
That's basically going to be crowd.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take 2 extra stereo microphones, and those sit higher up in the bowl of the stadium, and those act as my overheads.
So to be almost like sitting yourself in the lower decks of the stadium.
That's exactly what it's supposed to do. Audio is like water. It's just about where you get the water from and where you route it to.
That's cool. Your muscle memory, what does your left hand do and what does your right hand do in the middle of a game?
My left hand is mostly for the auxiliary items. My right hand takes care of my main things in the middle and my tape machines.
And what do you mean by auxiliary items?
So when we have to track the crew chief, or we have to go to the rules expert on Zoom, or we have to go to the studio on REM 2, that's all left hand. For the most part, our crowds, which are a booth crowd and some cameras, those things are all somewhat set and forget. We have a master group for those. In those first couple innings, that's when all those adjustments are kind of being made, depending on the stadium and the volume of the PA and all those things. Maddie, you should have player one now. You should have audio player one.
Great job. That one's high.
Auto will do defense as well.
I think that mixing audio, especially in real time like this, is like that same vibe as conducting. You're working off of the mics, the players, you're reacting, you're getting to a flow state, you just start to blur into the show and you're really just becoming one with the show rather than thinking about your palette and tools. It's preparation, 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 and then, the baton goes down and the concert goes.
Your emotions right now. Watch the Gatorade. Oh.
Patricia,
I yelled it.
You did. I didn't see it coming.
All right.
Mike's still working.
Oh.
That might need a little cleaning later.